One sudden tragedy scattered a legendary jewelry collection across Europe. Today, every time a Scandinavian queen steps out, she wears the glittering, forgotten ghost of Princess Daisy. She was a favorite granddaughter of Queen Victoria, yet her legacy is most visible today in the royal courts of Sweden and Denmark. Though she died over a century ago, Princess Margaret of Connaught left behind a jewelry collection that rivals any in Europe. To understand the significance of these tiaras and gems, we must first look at the woman who collected them and the fairy tale life that ended far too soon. Princess Margaret of Connaught, known affectionately to the family as Daisy, was born on January 15, 1882, at Bagshot Park in Surrey, England. She was the eldest child of Prince Arthur, the Duke of Connaught, and grew up in the inner circle of royalty as a favorite granddaughter of Queen Victoria herself. Her relationship with jewelry began early. Even as a young girl, Margaret was often seen wearing elegant pieces. As just an 11-year-old, she sparkled as a bridesmaid at the wedding of her cousin, the future King George V. By the turn of the century, Daisy and her sister, Princess Patricia, were widely regarded as two of the most beautiful and eligible royal brides in Europe. While Princess Margaret's life was tragically short, ending when she was only 38 years old, her memory lives on through the glittering gems and tiaras she left behind. Margaret's own romance was straight out of a fairy tale. During a royal tour of Egypt in early 1905, she was introduced in Cairo to Prince Gustav Adolf of Sweden, the man who would later become King Gustav VI Adolf. The attraction was immediate. Sources describe it as love at first sight. The romance moved with whirlwind speed, with the prince proposing to Margaret during a dinner at the British consulate in Cairo. Their engagement led to a spectacular wedding at Windsor Castle on June 15, 1905. After the ceremony, the happy couple honeymooned in Ireland before settling into life in Sweden, where Margaret became the crown princess. The 1905 royal wedding set the stage for an unparalleled collection of jeweled gifts. Across Europe, family and dignitaries showered the happy couple with treasures. These bridal presents formed the foundation of Daisy's jewelry box, and many of them would later take on new lives across the royal houses of Scandinavia. One of the very first gifts Margaret received was the Connaught diamond tiara. This was a family heirloom crafted in 1904 by the London jeweler E. Wolfe and Company for her parents. This delicate tiara is composed of 5 upright loops of forget-me-not flowers with hanging diamond pendants. It is a versatile piece that can detach to become a necklace, with the pendant drops used as earrings. Princess Margaret wore the tiara frequently in her new role, including for formal portraits. The piece stayed in Sweden after her death, inherited by her eldest son, Prince Gustav Adolf. It was worn so often by his wife, Princess Sibylla, that within the family it is simply called Princess Sibylla's tiara. Another grand gift was the Khedive of Egypt tiara, a diamond scroll design from the House of Cartier. It was given by Abbas II, the Khedive of Egypt, as a nod to where the royal couple's romance began. It was a symbol of their Egyptian engagement. Princess Margaret wore it both as a tiara and ingeniously as a corsage ornament on the bodice of her dress. After Margaret's untimely death, this Egyptian tiara passed to her only daughter, Princess Ingrid. Ingrid of Sweden, who later became Queen Ingrid of Denmark, treasured it and eventually made it the bridal tiara for her daughters. In fact, the Khedive tiara remains the wedding tiara of the Danish royal family to this day. From her British royal uncle and aunt, King Edward VII and Queen Alexandra, came a ruby and diamond tiara as another splash of color for the new crown princess. This classic Edwardian piece of floral motifs later entered the Swedish vaults. However, its story is complicated. Margaret's second son, Prince Sigvard, eventually inherited it, but Sigvard and his descendants fought over it. For decades, its ownership was disputed. It changed hands between Sigvard, his father, King Gustav VI, and eventually even passed into the hands of the current king, Karl XVI Gustav. In the end, the ruby tiara returned to the Swedish crown jewels. Today, Queen Sylvia and Princess Madeleine wear it at state occasions. From Sweden came a gift by Queen Sophia, the groom's grandmother. It was the Boucheron laurel wreath tiara. This graceful diamond-set laurel wreath was originally intended as a necklace, and Princess Margaret is only known to have worn it in that fashion. It fell to her third son, Prince Bertil, who married Princess Lilian. Lilian was the first to proudly wear the laurel wreath as a tiara, making it her signature piece for events like the Nobel banquets. Upon Lilian's death in 2013, she left the laurel wreath tiara to Crown Princess Victoria of Sweden, ensuring the piece remained in the family. There were also personal, intimate gifts. For instance, the Duke and Duchess of Devonshire gave Margaret a turquoise brooch. This simple brooch is set with a single cabochon turquoise, surrounded by 4 sparkling diamonds. When Margaret died, the brooch passed to Princess Ingrid of Sweden, who later gave it to her daughter, Queen Margrethe II of Denmark. Queen Margrethe has worn this brooch often. In fact, it is one of her most used pieces, giving it a quiet but enduring presence in the Danish royal collection. From her parents-in-law came a very unique piece, the Egyptian scarab necklace. Made in 1905 by the court jeweler Koch. It consists of 5 rows of seed pearls studded with emerald, sapphire, and ruby scarabs. These were ancient Egyptian symbols, and each scarab is topped with a tiny diamond letter M as a personal tribute to Margaret. When Margaret died in 1920, the necklace went to her 4th child, Prince Bertil. His wife, Princess Lilian, wore the scarab necklace at white tie events, often paired with the laurel wreath tiara. In a final act of devotion, Lilian left this necklace to Queen Sylvia of Sweden in 2013, bringing the jewel back into the main royal line. Throughout her life, Princess Margaret loved pearls, which was a hallmark of Edwardian style. In fact, she is depicted wearing pearls as a child, a reflection of Queen Victoria's taste. On her wedding day in 1905, she wore a long strand of pearls with a small ruby clasp. That same dramatic necklace, featuring 332 pearls, was inherited by her daughter, Princess Ingrid, after 1920. Ingrid passed those wedding pearls to her daughter, Margrethe II. Margrethe still wears these ropes of pearls today at family occasions, such as christenings, preserving Daisy's legacy in lustrous form. Alongside the grand tiaras and necklaces, Margaret also started a more private tradition. These were the slender gold Connaught bracelets. These open-ended gold bangles were worn by both Margaret and her sister Patricia from childhood onwards. It became a family custom that young princesses would receive one on their 5th birthday. Princess Margaret passed this custom to her daughter Ingrid. Ingrid then gave them to her daughters, Margrethe, Benedicta, and Anne-Marie, on their 5th birthdays. To this day, all 5 of Ingrid's granddaughters, including Princess Isabella of Denmark, wear the slim gold bracelet as a quiet symbol of family continuity. Beyond diamonds and pearls, one gemstone in particular seemed to capture Daisy's heart. That stone was turquoise. Margaret acquired several lovely turquoise pieces, which have had fascinating afterlives. For example, one of her most sentimental tiaras is the turquoise Daisy Bandeau. This elegant circlet features 11 rosettes of turquoise and diamonds arranged like daisy flowers, a sweet homage to her nickname. Margaret's daughter Ingrid received this bandeau as a confirmation gift in 1926 and wore it in her own 18th birthday portrait. Ingrid later took it to Denmark in 1935 when she married, and it eventually passed to Queen Margrethe II in 2000. For decades, Margrethe has worn it on state occasions alongside other turquoise heirlooms. In 2025, in a poignant full-circle moment, Queen Margrethe gave the turquoise daisy bandeau to her granddaughter, Princess Isabella, for her 18th birthday, making Isabella the tiara's latest cherished owner. When Princess Margaret died suddenly in May 1920, aged 38 and pregnant with her 6th child, her single brilliant collection was divided among her 5 children. In other words, her jewel box branched out into 3 royal houses: Denmark, Sweden, and Greece. Each child inherited a unique set of jewels, starting new traditions in their own right. Her only daughter Ingrid inherited the romantic Khedive of Egypt tiara, which she repurposed as the family wedding tiara. Ingrid's daughters, Anne-Marie, Margrethe, and Benedicta, all wore that same Egyptian scroll tiara on their wedding days. Ingrid also received her mother's turquoise daisy bandeau, and in turn passed it on to Queen Margaret II, who ultimately bestowed it on Princess Isabella. All of Margaret's pearl strands and simpler pieces also came to Denmark with Ingrid. Today, Queen Margrethe frequently wears these pearls and the Devonshire turquoise brooch that once belonged to Daisy, keeping the matriarch's style alive. Daisy's eldest son, Gustaf Adolf, inherited what became the core Swedish crown jewels of Daisy's collection. He received his mother's Connaught diamond tiara, which became his wife, Princess Sibylla's signature piece. Gustaf Adolf also got the Aquamarine Kokoshnik tiara, a stunning early 20th century piece set with 7 huge aquamarines in a delicate diamond lattice. His wife Sibylla debuted the Kokoshnik at their civil wedding in 1932 and wore it for decades. On Sibylla's death, it passed to her daughter, Princess Margaretha. After a long period out of public view, the aquamarine tiara finally reappeared at a 2010 royal wedding when Margaretha wore it. Today, Margaretha lets other family members use it as well. Princess Madeleine, Crown Princess Victoria, and even Princess Sophia have all worn the aquamarine Kokoshnik at Nobel banquets and state dinners. Daisy's third son, Prince Bertil, inherited 2 major jewels, the Boucheron laurel wreath tiara and the Egyptian scarab necklace. Although Margaret only wore the laurel wreath as a necklace, Princess Lilian was the first to set it as a tiara, and it became her most iconic jewel. Bertil's line had no children, so Lilian left the laurel wreath to Crown Princess Victoria in 2013. Bertil also inherited the scarab necklace, and Lilian loved wearing it at galas. Upon Lilian's death, she left the scarab necklace to Queen Sylvia, bringing that Egyptian jewel back to the active royal vault. In short, Bertil and Lilian transformed Daisy's 2 inherited pieces into 2 beloved royal heirlooms. Daisy's second son, Sigvard, inherited the King Edward VII ruby tiara, the very gift from his great-uncle and aunt. Unfortunately, Sigvard's story of this tiara became controversial. Sigvard, whose surname became Bernadotte after marrying without permission, later claimed he had merely lent the tiara to his father, King Gustaf VI, in exchange for money. The king asserted the transaction was a sale. After decades of wrangling, the ruby tiara ultimately returned to the official royal collection. Queen Sylvia now wears it at formal events, and Princess Madeleine debuted it publicly with a diamond river necklace added at its base as recently as 2023. What started as Daisy's colorful wedding tiara today lives on as a royal treasure once more. The youngest son, Prince Carl Johan, inherited a small but elegant antique diamond necklace. In the 1940s, his wife Kirsten famously mounted this necklace into a delicate tiara for gala occasions. She wore the necklace-turned tiara frequently up through the 1970s. After her death in 1987, the public trail of this jewel goes quiet. It is believed the diamond necklace tiara could have passed to the adopted children or grandchildren of Prince Carl Johan, but to date it has not appeared in any royal safekeepings or state events. Its current whereabouts remain one of the family's little mysteries. Princess Margaret's story didn't end in 1920. It simply continued in her descendants' jewel boxes. Across 2 countries and through generations, her pieces have been transformed into new traditions. A wedding gift from a foreign ruler became the cherished wedding tiara of a Danish queen. A diamond Kokoshnik passed from a British-born princess to a shareable family heirloom worn by sisters and cousins. A plain turquoise brooch quietly made its way from Margaret to Ingrid to Margrethe, and remains one of the Danish queen's favorite brooches. And those simple gold bangles link 5 generations of women back to Daisy herself. Whenever we see Queen Margrethe or Princess Sophia wearing those familiar jewels, be it a strand of pearls, a flower-shaped tiara, or a turquoise headband, we are witnessing a conversation across time. The line of gold bracelets around a princess's wrist, or the turquoise daisy flowers on a new tiara, quietly whisper, "She was here. Daisy was here." If you have enjoyed unraveling this royal jewelry saga, please like and subscribe for more stories about history's glittering treasures. There are many more royal jewel boxes to explore, and countless chapters of history shining just beneath the surface of each heirloom.